Welcome back to Our Issues Milwaukee. I'm your host, Andrea Williams, and our focus this morning has been on education. With it being summer vacation for many school-age children, we've been discussing the summer slide. Statistics show that differences in children's summer learning experiences during their elementary school years can ultimately impact whether they earn a high school diploma and continue on to college. That's certainly something to think about. And LaTasha Henry is a project director for the Milwaukee Summer Reading Project.
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Thank you for being here. I'm well.
Good.
And of course, I want you to tell us more about Milwaukee Summer Reading Project and how it all came about.
Sure. So we are actually in our 7th year of the Milwaukee Summer Reading Project. It actually started in 2010 when Dr. Fuller opened up the newspaper and he saw the results of the NAEP assessment, and that's the National Assessment for Education Progress. And what he found is that children, specifically African American 4th graders in the city of Milwaukee, were failing. And when you think about bigger cities in the United States, we were second to last from Detroit.
Wow.
And he got really upset about that. And when he gets upset, he makes some great decisions. So what happened with that is that he contacted a lot of community members, African American community members, and asked them to convene to have a discussion about what we can do to help the students of Milwaukee. From that conversation, they did come up with a program that they thought that would work. And so that started in spring, and the Milwaukee Summer Reading Project was starting in June.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was very exciting.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
It's history.
So what are some of the things that actually take place during the 6-week project?
We pride ourselves on focusing on specifically reading. Our students come from 8 to 12 a.m. with a breakfast, snack, and lunch. We do reading with the Big 5 reading skills, which is phonics, phonemic awareness, fluency, comprehension, and vocabulary. So throughout that day, they're participating in whole group, small group, and individualized instruction. We have a lead teacher that does a lot of the lesson planning and a lot of the lead teaching, and we're really excited that we have 2 assistants in a room. So when you think about the level of education and the training that the students are getting, a lot of them are coming out with one-on-one instruction.
That's awesome. And especially when you think about if someone was to talk to a student, they'd say, I don't want to do all that in the summer, but you guys probably have some aspect of fun to it that makes learning fun, I'm sure.
Definitely. We actually partner with Sharp Literacy, which is a vocabulary program. So we bring in lots of props that have to do with words and vocabulary words. We use lots of images for the students to come in to learn more about the vocabulary, and especially Milwaukee. So we do walks around the community, and we embed those vocabulary words into the students' vocabulary. We also partner with the Milwaukee Public Library, so our students do become super readers by the end of the summer. So they're reading to reach their goal, and it's exciting to see.
That is exciting, and the project is under the umbrella of the Institute for the Transformation of Learning on Marquette's campus, and it was founded and directed by former MPS superintendent and Marquette graduate, Dr. Howard Fuller, and Dr. Fuller has appeared on this show, and I think what better person to explain what the Institute is all about than Dr. Fuller himself. Exactly. Well, let's take a look.
Well, you know, I've really been very fortunate in my career because when I resigned from being the superintendent, Marquette University gave me the opportunity to create my own institute.
Wow.
And essentially what the institute is, it's really a platform that allows me to do the work that I'm currently doing. And so we've been very fortunate to have been able to stay open for 20 years on August 15th. And so we've done things locally as it pertains to education. But today I'm doing a lot more work nationally, both as a consultant, as a speaker. I'm on a number of different boards. And I'm also working on some very specific projects, one in New Orleans and another effort to create a national Black teacher collaborative. So, I'm very fortunate to still have a passion for this work and to still be able to do it.
Well, there you have it. And Dr. Fuller, I think, is safe to say an extraordinary individual. And what's really cool is he has a group of young leaders in the community that are referred to as Fuller Torch Fellows. And you happen to be one of those Torch Fellows. What is it like to be mentored by Dr. Fuller, who has such a a huge resume, not only doing outstanding work here in Milwaukee, but across the country.
It's an extraordinary experience. He really wanted to reach back into the community and take all of the knowledge that he had and try and help young leaders reach back and help develop us to make sure that we're passing that torch on and making a difference in the community, whether that's helping parents make good parental choices, transforming learning through ed reform. So a lot of the things that we do is basically taking what he's done and then learning about it so that we can give back. Some very important things that we've done over the years, we have monthly discussions on local and national news or topics that's happening and figuring out how we can make a difference in Milwaukee and in our community. Also, we have book studies. So we did have a chance to read through his book, No Struggle, No Progress. And then last but not least, we have opportunities to travel with him. So whether that's a convention, a book signing, whatever it may be that he's involved in, he allows us to follow him and mentor us so that we can learn the things that he's doing.
Yeah, what better person to learn
Yes,
from, right?
It's amazing.
It is amazing. And I think it's really awesome that you are able to take what you're learning from him and apply it in your classroom, because you are an educator alongside being a project manager with the summer reading program. But talk about your background as an educator and your passion for education and what made you want to actually teach.
Sure. As a little girl growing up, education was not an option for me. It was something that was pushed in our family. So I read all the time, and my grandmother would give me poetry books with Maya Angelou. So I always loved reading, and I used to play school on my back porch. I would make worksheets for the little kids in the neighborhood and, you know, take them on field trips to the park. So I think teaching is a passion, and it's something that you're born with. So I really feel that I was born to be in education. I've actually been teaching or in the field of education for over 15 years, whether that's in the classroom, a literacy coach, instructional coach. So my passion is to develop and coach teachers so that they can do better in the classroom and assist our students, whether it's reading, math, any type of strategies that will make students want to learn.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that you were doing all those things as a youngster, because I think probably as a teacher you can pinpoint what a student would be good at based off of their personality and things that they are attracted to. But I was the same way. I was pretending to be a news reporter in the backyard asking my mother questions. So it's kind of like when parents and teachers see those things, it's important to cater to that and kind of lead young people to a place where they might excel in actually doing that in real life, like yourself.
Yes.
And right now Wisconsin is actually facing a teacher shortage. You have less students who are deciding to major in education. What would you say to a young person who is thinking about becoming a teacher, but really they're not sure, whether it be they keep hearing the pay and all these different things, although I think it's safe to say there's a lot of money to be made in the field of education.
It is. I really would say to find a mentor or someone that they can connect with to get the ropes and the ins and outs of whether it's applying or it's going into the field of education. There are different requirements that are happening now, but just to buddy up with someone to figure out what is the best way to get into the field, and I think it's very rewarding. So I feel like if that's something that you want to do, at least try it and get in there, because our students need them, especially African American educators. We really need them in the city of Milwaukee.
Yeah, and we talked earlier about the Milwaukee Summer Reading Project partnering with Sharp Literacy, and you did touch on some of the things that take place within that partnership. What are some of the other things that you guys do as partners?
Sure. They actually come in and they help with our training. So our teachers we do a lot of training for our program. So during our week-long training for the program, Sharp Literacy comes in and provides us with training, whether it's how to give the assessments, how to interact with the students to make them engaged, and then just making sure that we participate, because they do different things, like at the end of the summer, allowing the kids to go. We don't actually go to the field trips, but we do participate in some writing activities also.
Good stuff. And a big aspect of the Milwaukee Summer Reading Project is the training of teachers and staff. And you have mentioned several times that you're trained in many different ways. You have what's called letters, where it actually allows for some students to excel a whole grade level.
Yes. Letters has been wonderful for our teachers. We've started it about 4 years ago, and it's through the Rolling Reading Foundation, where they come in. Our teachers are trained on 12 modules, which is 12 Saturdays from 8 to 4:30. So it's very intense, and they're all about the 5 big reading skills, but we dig deeper into it. And what we found is that classroom teachers or instructional coaches who have actually gone through like a college training come out of there feeling like they've learned more than what they even received in college.
Wow.
So that's one big thing, is that we want to continue training our teachers to make sure that they are up on the new strategies and skills, and making sure that they're providing our students with the best education possible.
Good stuff. And as with many nonprofits, funding is critical.
Yes.
So I want you to let viewers at home know how they can help make a difference, specifically with this project, because when the funding's not there, you either see programs go away or the number of students who actually benefit is lowered, and that's what we don't want to see happen. So how can people help make a difference with this particular project?
Sure. I think it's more about just spreading the word about the what we're trying to do and about the program. Unfortunately, this year we had to cut the program from 6 weeks to 4 weeks, and that was because of the lack of funding. So just getting the word out, making sure that students are enrolled, and just letting people know that we are making a difference. Most of our students, they make progress. Some of them even get past a grade by participating in our program. So they can contact Marquette University and for Cheryl Ope at 288-0405.
That's 288-0405. Give Cheryl a call. And as an educator, you can speak firsthand on the importance of kids staying engaged, because the last thing we want to see kids do is sit around and play video games all summer long and then go back to school and forget some of the things that they learned towards the end of the school year. So what are some of the things that parents and caregivers can do to kind of fill in that gap that takes place during the summer?
Definitely, the Milwaukee Public Library is going to be a great resource for parents. Everything is free, so if you sign up for the Super Reader program, students read and actually receive prizes. I think also just having a reading log, setting aside 20 to 30 minutes a night with your child, whether they're reading to you or you're reading to them, and giving them that exposure of even listening to a book, and just putting a book in their hand to let them know how important it is.
Yeah, and statistics also say that if they see you reading, then chances are they're going to be reading too.
Exactly.
So even if it's a magazine, as long as they're reading, right? That's what it's all about. So what's the process of actually getting a student involved in the Milwaukee Summer Reading Project in the future?
Sure, they can contact Cheryl Ope once again at 288-0405. We do have principals that nominate teachers, so if a parent is interested, definitely give her a call, and we would love to have them in the program.
All right, and I just thank you so much for coming by and giving us this great information, and continued success to the reading project as well as your upcoming school year with all your kiddos.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. LaTasha Henry is a project director for the Milwaukee Summer Reading Project, and again, for more information you can visit marquette.edu. That's going to do it for today's show. I'm your host, Andrea Williams. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope you join us again next week as we take another look at our issues, Milwaukee. Have a great day.